What's up, Weekend Warriors? We hope everyone's having a spectacular beginning to the week. You might be wondering, why is Weekendology posting in the middle of the week? I thought they only posted on Fridays. Well, we're back. We're starting up a new mini-series where we round up all of the latest and greatest news from this past week, and we wanted to share it with you guys. So I'm Will Deitchley alongside my host, Aaron Berg. Aaron, what's going on?
Just getting ready for the weekend on a Monday.
Exactly. The weekend never ends.
You never stop thinking about it.
You never stop thinking about it. So this is a bit of an experimental thing that we're doing. We're wanted to give you guys a little bit more of a different type of content. Instead of doing things we'd like to change, we wanted to focus on some things that are happening around the world, kind of like news updates and music, movies, media, sports, all that kind of stuff. We're going to give it a shot. It's going to be...
Is there going to be food too?
There could be some food episodes in the future, so we're not sure
That's
quite
all I
yet.
care about.
But these will be a little bit shorter episodes, maybe 10, 15 minutes. I can kind of give you some breakdowns of the best news from sports and all that kind of stuff. So before we kick off, I want to make sure we give a shout out to Colin Kessler of Big Red World. They're podcasting publishing network outside of St. Louis, so give them a follow at Big Red World on Twitter, and their website is bigredworld.org. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at Weekendology Pod. So for the first installment, Aaron, I wish we were starting it off on a more of a lighter note, but obviously, you know, the big news that came in over the weekend, this past Sunday, and we actually mentioned him a couple times in our fewer episodes of our podcast. Kobe Bryant passed away, sadly, over the weekend in a very tragic accident. So we wanted to share our memories of him. I've been a big fan of Kobe for his entire career, and we thought, we kind of do a tribute and remembrance of him and kind of share our thoughts and memories of him. So, Aaron, what was your reaction when you first kind of came to the realization that this was real and what was happening?
Yeah, I still can't really wrap my head around it, just because, like I said before the podcast started, I mean, this is one of maybe top 5 athletes, not even just basketball players, but athletes where they're almost like superhuman, and you think nothing could ever happen to them. I mean, even after his career, he was still around. He didn't disappear. Some athletes, even Hall of Famers, they'll just kind of fade away and kind of go back into their private lives. And Kobe was still around and promoting the game of basketball and business, and making investments. And you saw him with his family, and you saw him everywhere. It seemed like,
he was still very prevalent in the public eye. And for those of you who haven't been on social media or seen the news, Kobe Bryant and his daughter were on a helicopter ride over Calabasas, California. Tragically went down, and there was about 7 other people on board as well, including the pilots, and they all passed away in what appeared to be an engine malfunction that took the chopper down. But this is... I don't ever like to categorize or rank celebrity deaths, but this is one that really hits so hard because you said he was so prevalent in the public's eye, and it's so difficult to really think that this is even like a real thing too.
Yeah, it's more than just an athlete death.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like Elvis level.
Yeah,
it stops news stations. You could be watching the news, and they'll stop it to tell about this.
I think somebody posted on Twitter, and they said, years from now, you're going to remember just like where JFK was,
right,
where you were when Kobe Bryant, you saw.
Yeah, he was a cultural icon. He wasn't just an athlete or, an investor. I mean, he was really an American icon. But I think the important thing to remember too is he was a person. And I say this a lot. I think these things, I don't want to say they're good, but a silver lining to them is it has us take a step back and remember that he was a human being. He had a family, and he wasn't this god like people made him out to be. He was an actual person, and and also that, I mean, this could happen to anybody. It could happen anytime, in any way, shape, or form. So I think it's one of those things where it happens, and the world kind of collectively takes a step back and thinks, okay, wow, I am grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my life, and it's something where I think it's important for people to look at this and the whole cliche of live each day like it's your last.
No, it's very true.
It's important to do that.
His legacy is so much more than just basketball. It transcends that level. He was a father. He was an entrepreneur. He was somebody who really valued the most hard work that you could put into yourself as humanly possible. And he was definitely that ultimate level of competitor, but also that ultimate level of a great balance of a family man as well. And I'll never forget, just watching him growing up, watching him play. He was one of the first basketball jerseys I ever owned for Kobe Bryant when he was at the Lakers. I had the number 8,
of course.
not the 24. But that was, I always kind of, because he was the first huge superstar I watched growing up.
He was our generation's Jordan.
Exactly. I didn't get a chance to watch Jordan until the very end of his career, and I was too young to really understand, But Kobe was the dude, and he was drafted in '96, and he was the man.
If you were born in the '90s, that definitely was your guy, and he was one of the few athletes too where you don't even have to know anything about basketball, and you'll know who he is. Mm-hmm. People, and you could just say Kobe, and he's that one name kind of guy. He's that big.
Every
he did that
kid,
much for the sport.
Grew up fantasizing, doing the whole Kobe thing, backing somebody down, fake juke in one way, pulling the up the other, fadeaway jumpers. You throw the trash into the can, and Kobe, and you sink it. And
he revolutionized the game. That's the crazy thing is he really inspired guys how they play today. It's because of him. And you can make the case of he kind of carried on Jordan's legacy because he emulated Jordan a lot. Yeah, and he did, but he also that competitiveness was just something else, and we'll never see ever someone like him.
No.
I would say him and LeBron are the two that come to mind when I think of our generation. People born in the '90s. Guys who you will never see an athlete like that again. It's those two guys for
his relentless
for the NBA especially.
Competition and willingness to put his body on the line. Obviously, you if you followed some of the game before he retired a couple years ago, he had multiple injuries. He would be battling on the court.
He tore his Achilles.
He had
injuries.
Torn shoulder muscle. He had knee and ankle issues, hand issues. The dude had every injury under the sun, and he still
played 20
went
years, plus Olympics, plus 5-6 finals.
And he's playing 100 games every year, plus playoffs and everything. And
he's that last breed, I would say, of just that competitor, that fighter, that tough. He's a superstar, but he's not taking rest days. He's going to do whatever it takes for his team to win. And I think too, that's what's so inspiring is. And this is a testament to today's NBA. They really need, and maybe you'll see this change, guys need to take a look at that and remember that, and how if he was injured, he'd play through it, and he set an example for the other guys to work harder, the role players, to aspire to be great. And I think that's another thing that he really did to change the game is inspiring everyone across the board to compete harder, to practice harder, to do the little things better, to pay attention to details, to watch film, all those things. It's just you put that into one and you can be a star, no matter who you are.
He was truly a complete player with it too. And I was watching some footage, and I didn't realize how eerily close his game was to Jordan's until this video was really greatly edited too. And Jordan would do a little hop step inside, pump fake to one side, and a fadeaway jumper to the other. Kobe would pull off that exact same move, or he'd do a runner down by the baseline with a little floater up top off the glass. That was Jordan's move, and Kobe would do the exact same thing.
And I think that just shows his competitiveness because you could tell he was watching film, and he's like, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to do it better. And you could just see that, and he would do it. You could just tell he watched his competition more than anyone else because he knew where guys were going to be on the court, how they were going to defend him. It was insane. And same thing, with his defense too. You could just tell he was, they say the student of the game. He was even more than that, where he was studying. He had the show Detail on ESPN that he was still doing, and he was just a perfect guy for that because he would just study every little thing to get that competitive edge on people and win in the end.
And it's truly tragic to see, this kind of events unfold with him, because he was still in the prime of his life. He was still getting a second career after basketball. He had his Mamba Academy where he's teaching basketball and coaching, and it's really,
he's a big investor too.
It's a big investor. He's
investment
a good
in body
guy.
armor, and Coke had a stake in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of him. I mean, he had investments. He had an investment firm of his own.
Mm-hmm.
He had investments in Dell, just huge companies. I mean,
Yeah.
he was. That's a cool thing too. I think that I admired about him was he wasn't just an amazing basketball player and that's it. And I'm just going to be a basketball guy and go to broadcasting. I mean, he did it all. And again, his competitiveness. He was taking that into how can I better myself? How can I keep growing as a person? And I mean, he did so much, and he worked hard at everything he did.
And his career, I didn't realize this until I've seen, interviews after his passing in the last 24, 48 hours, is that he touched every single player, past, present, or future, in such a unique way. I mean, you have interviews obviously from Jerry West to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaq to everybody who played with him during his time, to current players, LeBron, Tracy McGrady was on. We were watching him earlier. To even the emerging young stars like Trae Young and Luka and Porzingis, and all of them are so uniquely affected by Kobe's legacy and what he was able to do for the game of basketball. And beyond that too, and everybody has a story about him. Everybody has, some way of saying, he was the best competitor or the best dad or the best guy to do this, and that. And I think that's very rare that you find that. Very few players have that impact. Very few people have that impact. And he was one to always leave a lasting legacy after he's gone now. So. It's obviously very tragic that he did pass away, though. But Aaron, what do you think this is going to mean, kind of for the future of basketball or the future of the Lakers? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I think it's hard too, just because as we record it, it's only been a day. But I mean, the future of the Lakers, they'll be okay. You
think they're going to win it this year?
I was thinking about that.
It's the team of destiny now?
It's funny because, I was thinking about that today because I always doubted them. I mean, it's tough because, I know, that would be a cool story and everything. And I don't think, just from a basketball standpoint, I think they can get close, but I think there's a lot better teams out there. But, they're definitely going to be inspired.
Who knows what could happen, though? Look at Brett Favre, what he did after his dad passed away. He went through 5 touchdowns.
And I think, too, you got LeBron, and LeBron is, like I said, he's just like Kobe. Yeah. That competitiveness, that
leadership.
Right. He's got all that stuff that Kobe did. So I think you'll see him step up, and that's how I think it'll change. You'll see guys like him and Anthony Davis really step up and inspire the young guys. And the young guys, I think, will be inspired too because, like you said, everyone had some kind of connection to him and at least watched him play, even if they didn't know him. But yeah, I think you'll see them improve and be inspired this year. Championship-wise, I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just from a basketball standpoint.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see just a whole rejuvenated Laker team, and they'll recover because the tragedies like this have happened across the sports world, especially in like helicopter, plane crashes,
there's
that
been
sort of thing.
A lot of crazy, tragic things like that before.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
He died in the plane crash a couple of years ago.
There was the owner of Leicester City, a Premier League team, died in a plane crash or a helicopter crash last year as well.
Yeah.
There's been so many type of instances like this, but it's sort of different.
It's different because this is he's, like I said, he's not even just a basketball player. He's like the biggest.
But it's Kobe Bryant. He was only 41. It wasn't like he was the only one involved too. His daughter was involved tragically, and there were 7 other people involved too. So it's not just a one-off event where he died of cancer or a heart attack. It was a traumatic,
it's just a freak accident,
tragic accident, and everything too.
But yeah, I think basketball will be impacted. Just from a standpoint of the mourning, I think the mourning is going to go on for at least the entire year, but into next season as well. And they'll do a lot of tributes, but I think it will definitely impact it, and I think you're going to have to see other people step up and be that ambassador that he was, because he was still promoting the game. He was still promoting the game to all ages.
Yeah.
And also just showing, like I said, that the details show, things like that, where he was promoting it in the sport in that way.
Yeah.
So I think they have a hole to fill in that way, especially where they need a guy to just promote that competitiveness and that edge and that the details of the game. So
yeah, and it'll be hard pressed to find that kind of a replacement for such a great guy as who Kobe was, and I think there's a lot of. It's a testament to see how they paid tribute to him after he passed on Sunday. A lot of the games they took 24-second shot clock violations to honor his number. They took 8-second backcourt violations to honor his other number too.
Yeah, I'm really glad they postponed the game.
Every
Clippers game is postponed.
Major sports team league has come out and publicly express condolences towards him and his family and everybody who knew him. And I think that's great too, because he was an international star. I mean, he was loved over in Europe. He obviously lived in Italy for a while. He was fluent in Spanish. He was a lover of soccer too, so he did a lot of stints with Neymar over in PSG. In France, he was from Barcelona with Lionel Messi. So he was more than just basketball. He was more than just an American sport. He was an international icon too.
Yeah.
So I think that's great that they're going to come out in droves to support his family and to remember who he was as well.
Yeah, no, that's good to see. I'm glad people are going to be with his wife and his kids and the rest of his family, and because they really need that support. I'm glad that everyone's going to come together and help them.
I saw an interesting quote as well, and obviously, Kobe will live on in LA forever. He'll live on in the NBA's legacy forever as well. But somebody was saying, if you want to see Kobe, he actually never left. He's all around us. He's Devin Booker's post-up game. He's DeMar DeRozan's footwork. He's Kyrie Irving's clear-outs. Let me go 1-on-5 mentality.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got LeBron's leadership. You can see him in Trae Young and Luka and all the other emerging stars. They
play the game today a lot because of him, and because he and same with just even going to guys come from high school. He started. I mean, I know he didn't start it, but he continued that trend. It really was a catalyst for guys coming out of high school and getting ready professionally young.
Do you have a favorite memory of Kobe when watching him play?
So, I mean, personally, I hated Kobe because I was a Kings fan
okay.
growing up. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was a Sacramento Kings fan back when they had Chris Webber and Peja and Vlade and all
they
those guys.
dominated back in the day.
Yeah, man. That was a huge rivalry. It was Lakers Kings. So, yeah, and I hate the Lakers to this day. But it was crazy though because Kobe, seriously, more so than Shaq, Kobe was one of those guys that I had to watch play, and like I said, it's a lot like LeBron for me, where I don't like him, and mostly I don't like him because they beat my teams, and Kobe especially, he got the ball and you knew what he was doing, you knew he was going to beat you, and especially against my team as a 10-year-old kid watching that and watching him just throughout my life. It's just dang, he's got the ball, he's scoring it, or he's gonna make a play, or he's you knew he was gonna win. He just had that killer instinct. So growing up, I couldn't stand him. I rooted against him so much. But every time he came to town, when he was playing against the Timberwolves, I got tickets, and I've seen him play in person.
See, that's really lucky. I've only
by the court probably maybe I think 12 times. I
really?
mean, every time he came to town, and I hated the Lakers, but I was like, this is a guy, and I knew, I'm like, this is my Jordan. This is a guy where I need to watch, and I need to see up close, and I'd always get good seats, because it wasn't just watching him on TV or watching him from the nosebleeds did it justice. I mean, you had to be close to see him, how quick he was, his communication on the court, he was always talking, his leadership, you could see it, and then just from a basketball standpoint, his skill. So my memories are just my life. I mean, from 2002 to when he retired in 2016, just that whole rooting against him, but at the same time being like, man, this guy's amazing. I love watching him.
You hate him,
play.
but you got to respect him as well. Cause
he was so fun to watch, man. It was like when you were done watching, you were just like, man, I'm grateful to watch you play.
Yeah.
Like, and you still respected it. And I would have to say a lot of those guys that he played against had that same kind of mentality where it's like, man, I hate you, but like, I gotta respect you, and I gotta I like you though because you're so good, you know. So
I think yours? My favorite memory is actually his last game. I know he took
that was special.
5 million shots, but I mean he hit 60 points in his swan song game. Like nobody goes out like that, and I think he realized he couldn't continue playing anymore. Mm-hmm. But he kind of went out on his own terms, and he was like, okay, I've accomplished everything I can in this game. You know, I'm at peace to hang up the boots, and I'm done. But I'm also going to drop 60 on my last game ever.
And that's him.
Yeah,
like you of all people, he would be the one to do that. Where he's like, all right, exactly what you said. I know I'm done, but I'm going to show you. Like you're going to remember me. You know, for my very last game. I think
my second favorite is when he came off that Achilles injury too. That's a year-long injury. Most people would have their careers ended after that. You know, they would hang it up, and you know he came back and he was stronger than ever during that time in his career. I think he came back and posted like some of his best numbers the year after for like the last 5-6 years or something off that injury. And, you know, just a testament to how hard he worked, you know, how much he loved the game, but also, you know, he had such a drive to get it done and a will to win. So,
well, and I think too, you got to remember. I mean, there's a reason they didn't trade him. You know, like he was a Laker for life, and that I also like that about him was he never left.
Yeah,
you know?
He had loyalty.
Even when they were struggling. You know, I know there was rumors he was trying to get traded or tried to get Andrew Bynum traded that one year, but he did stick around, and he deserves credit for that. And I think it's a testament to have Phil Jackson stick by him and come back to the Lakers and want to keep winning with him. I mean, it just shows that guys. Even if it was tumultuous, you know, if he couldn't get along with Shaq or his other teammates or whatever, guys still respected him and guys still were inspired by him and wanted to play with him. So I think that's, like I said, it's something that we're probably never going to see that level again. And if we do, it's going to be a while. Mm-hmm. I would say, you know, LeBron is kind of that lasting legacy of that kind of attitude, but it's still, man, that killer instinct combined with the skill, combined with the toughness, combined with the leadership, it's all that rolled into one, and that's what made him great.
It's very difficult, and the news is still kind of circulating around, and it's still hard to accept the fact that, you know, this kind of thing has happened, especially to somebody who's still in the public eye, and it's going to take a long time for anybody to really kind of accept it again, and you know, move on from this.
Yeah, it's just gonna be hard not seeing him around.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's the thing is, you know, whether you're a basketball fan or not, I mean, you saw him in some way, shape, or form, or heard from him, and I mean, it's gonna be hard just having him gone and just having the memories. But I think the good thing is we have the memories, and he did so much in so many ways that it'll inspire people to, I think too, to just be better in all their pursuits, whether it's basketball or work or just anything, to have that attitude, the Mamba mentality, as he called it. You know,
that's a good mentality to have, and you know, it's a tragedy he's gone, but he's going to live on forever, and he taught some great lessons to everybody. You know, prayers and condolences go out to, you know, everyone affected by this. You know, his family as well, his wife Vanessa, and the remaining members of his family. But you know, we want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' favorite Kobe moments, or you know, where did you guys stand on, you know, where were you when you heard the news as well?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting too, because I mean, you could get from the 90s memories, 2000s memories, recent memories. There's so many and so many different types. So yeah, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on this quick news update for the Weekendology Podcast. Tweet at us at Weekendology Pod. We want to make sure that we hear your thoughts as well. You can check out our last episode as well. We're up on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. Be sure to check out the Big Red World. They're on Twitter at Big Red Social, and their website is bigredworld.org. We'll have a new episode for you this Friday and every Friday after that. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.